Good morning class. So we are with another session of current affairs from the paper Hindu. So yesterday we were discussing about the current affairs of yesterday's newspaper, and it was not done yet as yesterday's papers is completely about budget. So I told that I will be taking another session of part 2 on yesterday's newspaper. So today we will have a short session on the rest of articles which is left over in the yesterday's newspaper, and as usual a 3 to 4 or 4:30 session we will be having today's newspaper session. So this is a part 2 of yesterday's newspaper. Okay. Good morning Kalyani. Is my voice audible? Am I audible? Please confirm if my voice is audible to you or not. Okay, fine. So yes, thank you for confirming Sanyam, Sakri and Kalyani. Fine. Cluster based approach for EIS cotton production. So this article states about a cluster way of production of extra long staple cotton, which is largely imported now, is now said to have an impetus on the government process of cluster based and a value chain approach to public private partnerships. So to develop this EIS, which is extra long staple cotton, which is mostly imported to our country. So currently our budget has provided for public private partnerships into EIS industry, okay, into cotton, to manufacture of this EIS cotton production. Next, so union budget is looking for the best collaboration between farmers, state and industry for input supplies, extension services, market linkages to increase ELS cotton productivity. An official of ministry stated that ELS cotton has now separate HS code. So basically what has happened in budget we will see as part of this cluster based approach. So Union Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has also said that the budget, in her budget speech on Wednesday, that the traditional artisans who were termed as Vishwakarma. So for the first time these traditional artisans were also taken into the part of MSMEs, so which we have discussed yesterday. So they are termed as Vishwakarma. So here the traditional artisans, craftspeople who work with their hands using tools, were generally referred as Vishwakarma. The new scheme will enable artisans to improve the quality, scale up, integrate the MSME value chain. As now I was mentioning that, so what budget provides is that for these artisans, who are these artisans? These are the people who work with hand or with the tools, basically with hand. Okay, so they are termed as artisans and then they are referred to in budget as Vishwakarmas. Okay, so for them they will be given lot of scope for to improving their quality, to scale up and to integrate into the MSME value chain. So they are being integrated into MSMEs. Okay, so that is what stated as part of your budget. So for the textiles and apparel sector, budget proposes allocation to 900 crore for amended technology upgradation fund. So to this fund they have given, for ATUFS fund they have allocated 900 crore budget as part of textiles and apparel sector. So for all these manufacturing, for the year 23-24, for this financial year, again 650 crore in 2022-23. That means from 650 crores in the last year budget, this year budget saw a spike of allocation of budget to 900 crores. Okay, next. So that was the case regarding this particular fund, nothing much mentioned about it. Next. So, and if you would have seen the budget speech and the budget allocation, most probably it is focusing on infrastructure development, MSME startups, youth and India towards its path to Amrit Kal, which is 100 years. So as part of infrastructure, 50 additional airports and helicopters are revived. So this is one kind of investment. So Nirmala Sitharaman, our finance minister proposed revival of 50 additional airports, heliports, water drones advanced landing grounds for improving regional connectivity. So for the regional air connectivity, they have proposed for the revival of existing 50 airports and airports, water domes, heliports and advanced landing grounds to improve regional air connectivity. Right. Next. Fine. Okay, so if you have any notes, you can ping me in the chat box. Okay, I am open for the discussion. Next, regional connectivity scheme of Ministry of Civil Aviation has seen doubling the allocation since the last allocation has risen from 600 crore to 1244 crore. So, for the aviation industry, the allocation of budget for Ministry of Aviation, Civil Aviation has seen a spike of almost doubling the allocation from 600 to 1244 crore. Okay. Next, however, the total budgetary allocation of the ministry was slashed by 70% of its virtue, reduced liabilities following the privatization of Air India. So, we know that Air India has been privatized, so that has seen 70% slash. Next, so the ministry has received a total of 3,113 crore for the financial year 23-24 as compared to 10,667 in the budgetary allocation compared to last fiscal because of privatization of the airways, okay, to Air India. So, the budget allocation has seen a reduction because of privatization of Air India, right. Next, Air India asset, rest all not much required. Next. Government to set up 100 5G labs to develop new applications. So, in the as part of Digital India, so another important path or another important area which our budget focuses is on digital education, digital infrastructure, digital literacy program. So, particularly this particular article states is that government to allocate, to set up 100 5G labs to develop new applications. So, new applications based on 5G technology. They have given for 100 new labs provisions. So, what does this article says? Government proposes about 100 labs for developing applications using 5G services in engineering institutions across the country. 3 centers for excellence for AI will also be set up. That means for artificial intelligence, 3 centers of excellence will be set up for development of artificial intelligence, research and development, and further any other applications regarding this particular application, artificial intelligence. These measures will realize a new range of opportunities, business models, employment potential, said the union budget presented by Finance Minister on Wednesday. So, basically this will obviously, when they are focusing on new technology will increase the scope of capacity building, skill development, employment facilities, and again scope for infrastructure development. So, all these are again asset creation for the country, right. So, that is what Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman has stated. According to her, these labs would cover among others applications such as smart classrooms, precision farming, intelligent transport systems and healthcare. So, development of these 5G would be targeted to especially which sectors? To agriculture, to education for children, then intelligent transport, that means for transport facilities and healthcare. So, these are the targeted areas, targeted sectors for development of these 5G apps. Okay. Next. Vehicle scrapping policy revved up to drive green economy. So, yesterday also we have seen green economy, green infrastructure. So, for that vehicle scrapping policy was revved up to drive green economy. So, what does this article says? Union budget for 23-24 for this fiscal year has laid down special emphasis on vehicle scrapping policy by allocating adequate funds to replace vehicles that are over 15 years. These vehicles not only includes your automobiles or the regular usage, it also includes government vehicles, ambulances. So, for all these they will be scrapped out. Okay. So, the move has hailed by the automobile manufacturers as it would provide a significant opportunities for fleet modernization and reduce fossil fuel consumption. So, we already know that we have a target, right, net zero emissions at or by 2070. So, for that, in that particular path, waiving off or scrapping of these particular vehicles is necessary. So, for that case, they have revived this particular program. Okay, while presenting the budget, our finance minister has stated that the union and the state government, including buses owned by transport corporations and public sector undertakings that have been on road for over the 15 years, will be scrapped. So whatever the government vehicles, whatever the public sector undertakings or any transport corporations that are working under government precisely. So for all these particular government vehicles which are on road for more than 15 years will be scrapped out. So that is what mentioned as part of your budget. Okay. So this is kind of environmental protection way of implementation of your act. Okay. So driving up to green economy. Next, replacing old vehicles is an important part of greening our economy. To further the vehicle scrapping policy mentioned in 21-22, allocating funds to scrap old vehicles of the central government. States will also be supported in replacing old vehicles and ambulances. So even ambulances which are running out post, like after 15 years, after attaining 15 years, or the vehicles which are on road for 15 years, all will be scrapped out. That is as part of this particular article. Okay. Next. So there was some glitch yesterday in Hindu paper. So this is about our local Hindu paper which we have downloaded. So there was some glitch, that's why you can see empty pages here. Okay. So no need to worry, we are not going to that articles, we will see the rest all articles. Fine. Senior citizen scheme limit doubled to 30 lakh. So senior citizen scheme has doubled to, that means if they have any accounts, in that account the limit of amount that to be present in senior citizens account has increased to 30 lakhs. Earlier, just before this particular fiscal year, it was for 15 lakhs as a limit, but now it has doubled to 30 lakhs, right? So Union Finance Minister, what she has proposed? She has proposed fine. She has proposed for increasing the upper limit of savings scheme. What is the scheme about? It is senior citizens savings scheme to 30 lakhs. Okay, to 30 lakhs and monthly income of up to monthly income account scheme to 9 lakhs. That means the monthly account income scheme has a upper limit of 9 lakhs, whereas the savings scheme, in the savings account they will be having this account amount. So that amount has an upper limit of 30 lakhs, which is double from the previous fiscal year. So the maximum deposit limit for senior citizen savings scheme will be enhanced from 15 lakhs to 30 lakhs, which is what Minister has told. And another specific thing is that this is one of the shortest speeches of Union Finance Ministry on budget. It is around 87-minute speech, less than 90-minute speech. Okay, just a small fact, that's it. Next. So the minister proposed that the maximum deposit limit for the monthly income account scheme will be enhanced from 4.5 to 9 lakhs. So you need to understand that their income, whatever the level of the account limit has almost doubled for everything. See, this is for savings scheme, for which from 15 lakhs to 30 lakhs it has been increased. Coming to monthly deposit, monthly income account scheme has seen an increase from 4.5 limit to 4.5 lakh limit to 9 lakh as a limit. That is for single account. Whereas for a joint account, so you might be aware, like you might be aware of a thing called HUF accounts, Hindustan Unite Limited, in that way. HUF accounts will be there, or any joint accounts, family joint accounts. For all these joint accounts, you have a limit which was increased from 9 lakh to 15 lakhs. Okay, that is what you need to know. Next. Yes, more for health, less for research projects. Union budget 23-24 has announced that 89,155 crore for the Ministry of Health, which is 3.43% higher than the previous outlay, which is 86,000 200.65 or 65 crores. So what is this is about? Ministry of Health has seen an allocation of budget. So budget allocated for Ministry of Health is 89,000 crore, around 89,000 crore, which was earlier 86,000 crore, so which seen an increase of 3.43% of budget allocation. Okay. So of these particular 89,155 crores outlay, 86,175 crore has been earmarked for the Department of Health and Family Welfare and 2,980 crore for the Department of Health Research. So you need to understand that in allocation of budget for Ministry of Health, there are two departments internally where the budget will be split to. So first department is the Department of Health and Family Welfare, and the other department is about Department of Health Research. So for each ministry there will be different departments. So here for these two departments the amount has been split, and you have to note that 2,980 crore is the amount allocated as a budget for Department of what? Health Research. So ICMR falls under the Department of Health Research. You have seen, especially during COVID time, ICMR has recommended this. ICMR has been working on vaccination. So you would have seen this ICMR. So for this particular ICMR, Indian Council for Medical Research, comes under the Department of Health Research, which saw a less amount for research products. So as compared to financial year 22-23, when 3,200 crore was allocated to the Department of Health Research. So you need to understand that in the previous budget, fiscal year budget, the amount allocated for the Department of Health Research saw 3,200 crore, whereas this year it is around 2,980 crore. So obviously it is decreased, right? The allocation has been slashed. So there is a decrease of 6.87% on medical research. Okay. Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, which is PMJ, which provides a cashless health insurance up to 5 lakh per family, has been allocated of 7,200 crore in the financial year 23-24, higher than the last year. So PMJ, which is Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, has seen an allocation of around 7,000 crore as part of budget, which is more than the previous year. So where and what does this particular scheme is about? It provides a cashless insurance up to upper limit of 5 lakhs for targeted families. So has been allocated of amount 7,200 crore, compared to the previous year it was only 6,412 crore. Okay. Yes, that is an update. Next. So that's it about that particular article. Yes. So Ekalavya schools. For these Ekalavya schools, in the coming 3 years, there will be recruiting a staff, massive recruitment in terms of teachers and support staff, and the amount was 38,800 members. So 38,800 members can be teachers and staff together. Both will be recruited into Ekalavya schools management within the span of the coming 3 years, I think. Let's see. So what this particular article says about? So it again states that for these Ekalavya model schools, so Union government has told that 38,800 teachers and support staff of 740 will be allocated. So including this, there is 740 support staff. Okay. So those are the numbers for which they will be taking members of employment. So for schools of tribal students, so the targeted people are tribal students across the country over the next 3 years. So for the next 3 years span, 38,800 plus 740 people will be allocated, or they will be recruited by the government. Okay. Next, the announcement comes after the Hindu reported in the September last year that the Ekalavya schools were running with fewer than half of the number of teachers recommended by the National Education Society for Tribal Students NES. So you need to understand that there was one particular article, of course that is not of importance, but the thing is that there was a speculation or criticism in the previous year stating that Ekalavya schools is running short of faculty, almost half see, fewer than half of the numbers recommended by what? By this particular committee or this particular thing, which is NES, that means National Education Society for Tribal Students, the managing authority of such particular schools. So, it is a managing authority or organization which deals with education facilities of these tribal students. So, it organizes all these things. So, that have given a statement that almost fewer than half of the members are the existing faculty for Ekalavya schools. So, in light of that, this particular budget has been allocated. Okay. Next. So, coming to this particular year, the target is 10,000 students. So, only around this particular year, 10,000 teachers will be recruited. Okay. Next. 15,000 crore to be spent for the development of tribes. So, in the beginning of speech, Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman has also stressed that this particular budget will be targeting for an inclusive growth. So, she has stressed upon inclusive growth. When this inclusive growth will be achieved, when each part of the section will be addressed. So, here also their focus in this particular article is about STs, okay, for tribals. So, 15,000 crore has been spent for the development of tribes. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has announced that Pradhan Mantri particularly vulnerable tribal groups, PVTGs, development mission will focus on. So, it is Pradhan Mantri PVTGs development mission will be focusing on improvement of overall socio-economic conditions of 75 such groups across the country. That means for the overall development of 75 PVTGs will be under focus for this particular year. Okay, fine. So, these groups live in nearly 31,000 villages across 18 states and 1 union territory. Okay, around 18 states and 1 union territory, these PVTGs are spread all over the country. Okay, next. So, what she has laid down? She has put forward an expenditure outlay of 15,000 crore and making this amount available for the next 3 years for the implementation of the mission. So, what is the mission? PM PVTG's development mission. So, for this mission, she has laid down of 15,000 crore for the upcoming 3 years, not for one single year, for 3 years. Okay. Next article. So, your editorials will not be dealt in this particular current affair part. So, we are skipping your editorial part. These are all your editorials, will be dealt later. So, this is the state news, I am skipping that. State news I am skipping because as part of UPSC, states is not required. So, I am not going into it except for the state which holds importance for entire nation. Okay. Let us see if there is any other article of importance. Yes. So, what is our Prime Minister's opinion on this particular budget? That is about this particular article. Let us see what he has filled. Okay, fine. So, budget will lay a strong base to build a developed India. So, this particular budget is focusing to make India a developed one. That's what Mr. Modi opines. Okay. So, the first budget of Amrit Kal will fulfill the dreams of poor, middle class, farmers, Modi says. Hails 10 lakh crore investments in infra, underlines government efforts to enhance lives of women. Okay. So, you have seen what is the focus? Weaker sections, all different sections, middle class, farmers. Okay. You need to understand that. Next, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has termed that this is the first budget of Amrit Kal, the 25-year period between India's 70th independence and its centenary. So, this is the first budget, no? After 75th independence, this is the first budget which is targeting for Amrit Kal, which is our centenary, 100 years of independence. So, it would lay a strong foundation for building the developed India. Okay. So, what here is other mentioned about important ones. Yes, the budget for this year ranges on tax slabs. So, it has brought out it has brought a lot of changes in the tax slabs yesterday, which we have seen. So, from 7 lakhs above itself taxation is there, which is again an optional one given to its citizens. They can opt for old regime or the new regime. I have also shown what are the different constraints of opting for both old regime and new regime. So, the exempts those with an income of 7 lakh per annum up to 5 lakh per annum in the past. So, till last fiscal year, the income of no income tax was till the level of 5 lakhs, but now it has reached to the level of 7 lakhs for this particular budget fiscal year. From paying personal income tax, and also brings down the effective rate of tax to higher tax brackets as well. So, for the higher slabs also the effective rates has been brought down. Okay. So, PM Vikas, he hailed that the unprecedented investment of 10 lakh crore in infrastructure, said it would give speed and new energy development. Nothing that PM Vishwakarma Kaushal Samman would bring a huge change in the lives of Vishwakarmas. So, allotment of a budget of 10 lakh crore on investment would give huge thrust to whom? To Vishwakarmas of India. So, for the artisans it would be a huge thrust. That is what Mr. Modi opined. Okay. So, said for the first time, so Vishwakarmas for the first time schemes relating to their support were incorporated into the budget. So, every time the firsts are very much important as part of your UPSC. So, for the first time for artisans sake a bill will be introduced, a different fund has been given. So, this particular artisans wise budget is again important. Okay. So, he said that this is a budget which first time addressed Vishwakarmas. Next, toiling traditionally with their hands, Vishwakarmas are the creators of the country. For the first time of the scheme related to training and support of Vishwakarma has been brought into the budget. So, what was brought into the budget? Training and upskilling and capacity building of Vishwakarmas was laid down the focus in your budget. Okay. So, preparations have been made for their training, technology, credit, market support. So, from the beginning stage to till end. So, your skill development, training, market support, capacity building, technological support, credit facilities, what not, everything. Okay. So, PM Vikas will bring a huge change in the lives of crores of Vishwakarmas in the country. Okay. So, that is update regarding Vishwakarmas. What budget, what Prime Minister has opined about budget is this article. So, that is done. Next. So, this was a news which was completely repeating in this particular week. So, if you would have seen, there is a speculation that, not speculation, it is true that BBC's document on our Prime Minister was being blocked in India, and those who will be showcasing this particular document officially or in live will be taken into bars. Okay. So, what, and this particular BBC document, BBC is a UK company. So, what UK people had given a statement regarding their involvement into this particular media rights. So, basically what this article says is that UK president, UK government, they have given an open statement that yes, BBC has given a documentary on Prime Minister. However, that is media rights. So, that is a freedom of expression, right? Even for UK also they have their own freedom of expression. Media rights comes under the on freedom of expression. In India, we also have the media rights in your fundamental right. It is a part of your fundamental right, Article 19(1)(a). So, as part of Article 19(1)(a), we have right to freedom of speech and expression. In the same way, you get your media rights as part of this particular article. In the similar lines, UK also have their own media rights. So, what UK government has told is that we respect our ties with India as well as we respect the independence nature of BBC. That is what mentioned in this particular article. I will just read out. So, everything which I have told is clear. So, UK government defends BBC's independence and affirms ties with India. So, they have given you a balanced statement that we respect their independence, whatever they have displayed, that is their own media rights. At the same time, we value our ties with India. That's what UK said. So, UK government on Wednesday defended independence of BBC and the relationships with UK has with India. After supporters of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Modi government in India, the UK raised strong objections to BBC documentary on Mr. Modi. So, you will appreciate the BBC. BBC is independent in its output, and we would stress that we would continue to regard India as an incredible important international partner, says the spokesperson of UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak told the foreign press on Wednesday at a briefing. So, Rishi Sunak himself has told that we respect our ties with India, at the same time we respect the independence nature of BBC. So, that is what a balanced statement, diplomatic statement given by UK. Okay. Next. So, again they have told that yes, we will be investing hugely into our own strategic relationship with India. That is what this article says, nothing more than that. Yes. So, there is a proposal that banking laws will be amended. Okay. Banking laws, that can be your RBI Act, your 3 laws, basically 3 acts, not 3 laws, 3 acts will be amended. Okay. That is what Finance Minister Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman has told during budget speech. So, she has mentioned that changes proposed in the budget to the Banking Regulation Act. Banking Regulation Act number 1, Banking Companies Act number 2 and RBI Act, Reserve Bank of India Act 3. So, in the 3 acts, repeating again, Banking Regulation Act, Banking Companies Act and RBI Act. For 3 acts, she has proposed certain recommendations. She told that we will be improving the banking governance and enhance investors protection. Okay. So, Union Minister, again Union Finance Minister Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman has on Wednesday proposed that certain amendments on Banking Regulation Act, Companies Act and RBI to improve bank governance and enhance investors protection. So, further to reduce cost of compliance, finance. So, what does this particular amendments have? I mean, what is their agenda in amending? So, what she has told, further to reduce the cost of compliance, financial sector regulators carry out a comprehensive review of existing regulations and consider suggestions from public and regulated entities. Managing partner Rajni Associates. It will be interesting to see the amendments will be made. The thing is that they are trying to focus upon user friendly way of banking systems, that you need to understand. Basically, all these have underlying reason of user friendly mechanism and easing of banking services for the end customer. Okay, and also different stakeholders involving into banking sector. So, the main focus is about cost of compliance should be reduced and finance sector regulations will also be carried out. Next. So, the focus of another thing which she has mentioned is the focus of the deployment of DigiLocker and the national development of nation financial information registry will not only serve as a central repository of the financial and ancillary information to provide financial inclusion, but also considerably promote the ease of doing business. So, I have already explained yesterday that she has also stressed upon increasing the DigiLocker. So, whatever the certificates next you will be providing, it may be your KYC or any certificates from your DigiLocker will be expanded now. So, it will expand the level of usage of DigiLocker. So, digitalizing your certificates basically. Okay. So, that is what she has mentioned. So, this article is about that. To build the capacity of functionaries and professionals in the security market, SEBI will be empowered to develop, regulate, maintain, enforce norms and standards for education in the National Institute of Security Markets to recognize our decreased diplomatic certificates, says Nirmala Sitharaman. So, as part of financial education, your stock marketing education, what Ms. Finance Minister Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman has told that SEBI will be empowered with additional what we can say, with additional role, that with additional responsibility to train, to maintain, to enforce norms and standards for education. So what should be the syllabus? How should be the exam regulated? What are the constraints of qualifying this particular degree, and allocation of degree, and recognizing their degrees, diplomas, certificates will be maintained by SEBI as part of their security markets education. So there will be a degree course, diploma course on what? On security markets, which will be under directly control of SEBI. Okay, that you need to understand. Next, India-US step up strategic ties with tech plan. So I told yesterday that, on Feb 1st, a current affair we have discussed that our Ajit Doval, Mr. National Security Advisor, with his counterpart Sullivan. So with Sullivan, they have met in US and they have discussed. Okay, in Washington they have met, and at the same time here there was other person who has met. So I told that on where our finance minister, our external affair minister Jaishankar has met another person from US only. So both has coincided, we have seen, but we haven't seen what are the outcomes of meeting of Ajit Doval with his counterpart. That we will see. So they have met for an inaugural dialogue on initiative on critical emerging technologies. So on the critical emerging technologies ICET. So on ICET there was a collaborative dialogue with US in Washington. So the two sides have announced a set of programs which aims to increase the depth and scope of bilateral cooperation in cutting edge technologies, including the defense sector. So including in the defense sector, whatever the technology can take place, whatever the technology can replace the existing technologies, they have discussed about all those things. So it is not only about the general technological for civilian purpose, but also in the defense sector it has aimed for. So ICET seeks to build supply chains which increase co-production, co-development with the countries, between the countries, increase linkages between the countries, startup ecosystems, and both governments said in statements in this particular dialogue. So their focus is on which sector? Defense. Next, in mutual cooperation for startup ecosystem, both will be working upon. So main focus is on startups and defense. Technology exchange on all cutting edge technologies, that means can be your AI, machine learning, whatever the technologies that is in current boom. Okay. Next, so what is their aim? So their planned cooperation areas which they have highlighted: strengthening innovation ecosystems, innovation as part of your startups, or basically startup will be the ultimate aim of these innovations nowadays. So strengthening innovation ecosystems, defense innovation, technology cooperation, resilient semiconductor supply chains, electronics. So all your semiconductor supply chains, in that finding out resilience, space. Next, STEM talent, so as part of education and skill development. Next generation, telecommunications. So as part of your telecommunications, STEM, that means education, startups, innovation, defense, technologies will be shared mutually in between both the countries. That is as part of the dialogue that has happened between, ICET happened between Ajit Doval and his counterpart. So he is our national security officer, okay. Sorry, security advisor. Where is this? See, national security advisor, and his counterpart Sullivan, Jake Sullivan. That is about this particular article. Yes, I think that's it. Yeah. This particular article is there. Another thing about our budget is digitalizing payments. India is it is the fastest country to adopt digitalizing of payments. So almost everyone now we are going cashless. So we are going into cashless economies. We are paying cashless only through UPIs or any other like RuPay payments. We are paying our amount. Okay. So regarding that, what is this article says is that what is the government's new policy of UPI for NRIs? So for NRIs, what is the change policy? So the NPCI, which is National Payments Corporation of India, this particular NPCI has allowed non-residents to be onboarded into the UPI ecosystem. The Union Cabinet has approved 2,600 crore incentive scheme to promote RuPay debit cards and low value BHIM UPI transactions. So what does this particular article says is that it will give a provision for NRIs to utilize UPI payments or RuPay payments. Okay. So for that we need infrastructure development, right? Again we need to have different kinds of websites, servers for developing this transactions out of the country. So for that they have allocated a budget of 2,600 crore. Okay, fine. So what does this article says? Let me go to the gist first. So anytime when this type of article comes, go for the gist, then go for the article. Okay. So what does this article gist says? National Payments Corporation of India paved the way for the international phone numbers to be able to transact using UPI. Till now only our 91, whichever starts with +91 indicates that it is India number, no? Only that number will be having access to UPI payments, whereas now whoever having the international numbers can also be able to access, not now, in future. Okay. So for that only they have allocated budget. Non-resident accounts such as NRI or non-resident external accounts and non-resident ordinary accounts having international numbers will now be allowed into UPI ecosystems. It's not like every international number will be allowed. Only NRO and NRE external accounts, non-resident external account and non-resident ordinary account will be given access to UPI transactions. Okay. Next. Fine. As of January 17th, as of January 17th, 3,000 million transactions. So this is what she has stated in her budget speech that, okay, this is in. So as of January 17th, 3,192 million transactions, approximately 5.52 lakh crore has been facilitated using UPI on the ongoing month as part of NPCI data. So 3,192 transactions of value of amount around 5.5 lakh crore amount has been transacted in around 3,092 million transactions over the period of has been facilitated in the ongoing month. So in that particular month. Okay. So let's see what this article says. That is the gist of this entire article. Where does UPI stand? That you need to know. So as of latest available data, 6,779 million transactions worth about 10.95 lakh crore has been facilitated using UPI. In the previous calendar year, excluding 1 month of fall between January and February, UPI transactions have been seen an upward trajectory. So except in the month of January and February, rest all months have seen upward. So this is just a data which you need to know. A monthly data is not much required, annual data of these transactions is required. Okay, but just for your understanding, as part of DigiDhan dashboard maintained by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, mighty BHIM UPI accounted for 52% of all digital payments in financial year 21-22. At present, it stands at 59.74. So this particular data is important because this is annual data. No? For the year of 21-22, it was 52% where BHIM UPI was the way of transaction through digital payments, whereas this particular year, as of now, it is 59.674%. That is almost 60% of the transactions online is happening through BHIM UPI. So it can be through RuPay or Paytm, whatever it may be, but now it is through BHIM UPI. 60% of transactions are going on. Okay. Next. So this I have discussed. So what is the current issue? What? Infrastructure. Digital infrastructure, no? That is the issue. So addressing the infrastructure and technological changes required support of such payments, he said. Currently, all the internal systems as well as ecosystem players such as banks, NPCI, etc. only understand the India-based mobile numbers for UPI transaction. With this enablement, a significant number of systems will need to start understanding the same. That means, as I told you, the number with +9 has been given as an identity of the existing numbers, and the numbers which has this as in the beginning as a prefix, these numbers were injected into the data system of NPCI. You need to understand. So the data system has recognition capacity of only Indian numbers. Now they need a new system where they need to recognize all those NPs and NPOs. Okay, sorry, NRE and NROs. Okay, for that there is a technological gap that is existing which we need to fill on. Next, what is the discussion of MDR? Merchant discount rate. Is the exchange important as per your economy? So what is this? Merchant discount rate is the charge recovered by the acquirer from the final recipient of the payment, that is the merchant. It is collected by the acquirer to compensate the varied service providers and intermediaries in the payment system. That means, suppose I am getting transferred from some other person, I am getting transferred of amount. Let's say 100 rupees is being credited into my account. Now, as the end user, as the end of this particular aquifer, so I am the final recipient, right? Final recipient of the transaction. So I will be charged a certain amount for the transaction services. As of now, do you have such transaction fees? No. So presently there is no MDR charge. Let me go. No MDR charge levied for RuPay based debit card and UPI transactions. The stakeholders are hence concerned over cost recovery for the services they provide. In August 2022, Finance Minister tweeted that it was not planning to levy charges for UPI services. The concerns of the service providers for cost recovery have to be met through some other means. So, for their services, they need to choose some other means for instead of opting MDR. That is what as of now the stake. So, in near future we can expect MDR too. That is what this article says about. Nothing more than that. So, I think I am done with part 2. This is the end article which I wanted to discuss. Rest all nothing is there, I think. Yeah, nothing. Yeah. So, that's it for today's session. This is part 2 of yesterday's newspaper. So, we will be having another session on current affairs today on 3 o'clock. Okay. Thank you for the session. So far, if you have any notes, please let me know. Online students. Ma'am, I just want to ask what about the last year's current affairs, because we have no lectures earlier. Kalyani, this is a new program which we have started so far. From this month, this program has been started. So, for the last years, you can go for any compilations or your own notes. So, as of now, we don't have any plan to discuss about the previous year current affairs. Okay. So, as of now, we will be dealing with daily current affairs as a module. I hope that's clear. Any other doubts online? Yes. Great. If that is it, thank you for the session. Good day. We will be meeting at 3 o'clock for today's current affairs discussion. Okay. Thank you. Kalyani, if that is the case, I will check with the management. Okay. I did not know about that. If that is the case, I will check with the management and let you know. Okay. Thank you.